So Wine Enthusiast magazine awarded Oregon's Willamette Valley as its 2016 Wine Region of the Year for the annual Wine Star Awards. Now, if you're a wine lover and haven't explored Oregon Pinots or visited the region, we have travel food wine writer Priscilla Willis here. She's going to tell us that it's time to go. We need to go there, and I agree already. I already know we need to go, but she's going to give us the inside scoop of what makes this region so unique, and it's growing leaps and bounds. It's growing by the vineyard pretty fast, and she's joining us here on Big Blend Radio today to talk about her recent trip there. And also, I want to encourage you to go to her blog. Go to shescookin.com because she knows how to really deliver or serve up some delicious content. So welcome to the show, Priscilla. How are you?
Thank you, Lisa. I'm great. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Nancy and I are so excited to chat with you. And let's just start by saying this. You have a really good wine with you right now. I know you do.
I do. And I'm going to reiterate on that Wine Enthusiast Award 2016 Wine Region of the Year for Willamette Valley. And I'm currently enjoying a 2015 Willamette Valley Vineyards Tualatin Estate Pinot Noir that was rated 92 by Wine Spectator. So, read it.
Wow. Well,
read it.
you
know.
I'm a happy person. Okay, I'm just making this our happy hour show officially now. I know it's our perks and travel, but you got to have wine when you travel, right? And that's the interesting thing. When you arrive at a destination, I know that you split your time between Arkansas and Southern California, right?
Ooh. Yes. That's
so cool. I'm going to be picking your brain because we're going to Arkansas
more
soon.
But yes.
Yeah, cool. We're going to Arkansas very soon this summer because that's the time to go, apparently. But anyway,
I'm not so sure. It's pretty hot in the summer, but Arkansas is dubbed the natural state, and it is a beautiful state, especially where I am in the Ozarks of northwest Arkansas. So you won't regret it. But right now is a super time because we've had so much rain and there's so many waterfalls.
Oh, nice.
If you're a hiker. You have to hike to most of these places.
Yeah.
She's in the Ozarks.
Well, I wanted to ask, when you get to a destination, what's your first call of duty? I know, like, as travel writers, the first thing is, like, check the emails and everything, but do you want that glass of wine to chill out as soon as you get to a place?
If I can, sure.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, my last two trips have been riddled with delays and things, so it hasn't been smooth sailing, but generally I like to check in, and walk around the town if it's in a town or an area, and it's not late at night. But check out some wine or a brewery or, have some local libation.
Kind of get your feet wet. Yeah.
It's a nerve
I'm not
calming
picky.
thing.
Yeah. Well, and there's always delays and stuff that happens in travel. That's that detour thing. And sometimes good things come of it, and sometimes you just have to knock it all out, and then you'll be smooth sailing for the rest of the year. So maybe you just had to get it over with, and then the rest of it's going to be awesome.
I hope that's the case.
Well, you got good wine with you. So now, as you're sipping a Pinot, would you say that Willamette Valley truly has become the home of the New World Pinot Noir?
Oh, definitely. And it started out, I'm working on, my blog post for here. It started in 1985, well before the 2004 movie Sideways, which sparked Pinot Noir mania. But in 1985, and this is not new news, but it might be for people that don't read a lot about wine, there was a wine panel at the International Wine Center in New York, and they could not distinguish between a Willamette Valley or an Oregon Pinot Noir or the French Burgundies, and they ended up selecting 3 Oregon Pinot Noirs as their favorites. And that's when, their recognition really took off.
Wow.
And that's when the French went.
Among their own files anyway. But,
wow. That's amazing. And it's interesting because I know we've covered this the end of 2018. We were covering Willamette and Tualatin, and I just love, to progress on the coverage because you're looking now and getting all kind of the results of the growth of what happened in 2018 for the area, and it seems like, number one, they're staying strong with sustainability, that they really take the cake when it comes to taking care of the land, and that's probably the call of why their wines are so good, but also that it's growing. So they've got to have that balance in there as they're doing sustainability, where it seems that they're in demand.
It does make a difference, and they have found that themselves, testing between the different farming methods and then doing it a traditional way, and found, more exceptional wines when they did practice biodynamic or sustainable farming. And they're very, very committed to that. If there's one major tenet, it's their sense of community and sense of place, and their stewards of the land and commitment to sustainability.
One thing I didn't know is that they were also that way in regards to their farm workers, is take care of the land, take care of waste. So they're into recycling with what they do, but they are also into taking care of their farm workers. I didn't know that part was also very strong for them.
Yeah, they've always been a leader in environmental issues and stewardship. So,
that's
kudos
called
to
survival.
the state of Oregon.
I mean, it is called survival. If you want to keep doing what you're doing year after year, you can't practice something that puts you out of business, right? You know what I mean? So if you don't go sustainable, you're putting yourself out of business.
Exactly. There's that balance.
Or the people after you out of business. So it makes sense.
Have you been there before, or was this your first trip?
No, sadly, not sad, because I'm glad I finally made it there, but I've been wanting to go there for years. And so I jumped at the chance to go and plan on returning.
It's a beautiful area.
I was in Southern California, so I'd been to Napa and Sonoma and Paso Robles and, San Luis Obispo, Central Coast area, but I had never been to Oregon, so I was excited to go.
And did you enjoy it? Was it like the scenery beautiful for you as well?
It was. It's gorgeous, and it was very green. They were getting lots of rain. Yeah, it's very, very green and very, probably to a lot of people, surprisingly rural. But it's not a big area, or it hasn't. And this is part of the charm, developed into an area such as Napa Valley. So you do feel that you're out in the country, and it's a pleasant change.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So did you fly in or drive up? If you flew in, did you go into Portland?
Well, I flew into Portland, and then I rented a car, and I was by myself, so I had to do a lot of driving. Left Portland, drove to Eugene, which is about 2 hours away, to start at the south end of the valley and work my way up back to Portland to return home. So I did do a lot of driving, and I couldn't really look around as much as I would have liked if I had been a passenger, but, it was fine. A lot of people like to drive. I was just, like I said, solo, so probably couldn't look around as much as I would have liked. But it's very doable.
Place.
The whole length of the valley is like 2 hours.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I mean, Oregon, every time we go through, I'm like, okay, can we just move here at least for a year, because it's so beautiful, and the terrain changes, especially when you start going inland and then go into the ocean, and they even have desert out there, which is wild, So that is such an interesting state to me. So where did you stay?
So one of the places I stayed, in Eugene, what was it called? I'd have to look it up. It was a lovely boutique hotel. I'd have to look at my pictures. Hold on a second. Then I stayed at Abbey Road Farms, which is a working farm, and more in the central part of the valley. That was just lovely. And they have just planted their first vines.
Oh, wow.
So
cool.
they will be having wine themselves soon. Although I'm not sure if they're growers or if they're going to, hire a winemaker and do their own wines. They may just be growing grapes. I'm not quite sure.
This is interesting because of the way they're growing. That they're having to really kind of watch their backs of being, stolen, get their name stolen, right? And so the AVA part of it has to be really strong. I was reading some notes that you sent me. It seems that Willamette Valley Vineyards have had to put their foot down on some people trying to kind of snag their portfolio.
Oh yes, the AVA designations are very important, and they're protected. And in my notes that I sent you, they have right now 8 designated AVAs. Willamette Valley is the largest AVA, and within that they have sub-AVAs of Chehalem Mountains, Dundee Hills, Eola Amity Hills, McMinnville, Ribbon Ridge, Van Duzer Corridor, which was the most recently approved, and Yamhill Carlton. And there are 5 or so awaiting approval. Mount Pisgah, Polk County, Lower Long Tom, Tualatin Hills, and Laurelwood. So, yeah, they are, developing their AVAs, and yes, they do not like it when people use their name, and really it's false advertising.
Right.
So they have a big controversy right now, the Copper Cane controversy, a place in California, Copper Cane, that is labeling their wine as from Willamette Valley, and that's what the controversy is.
Wow.
Well, that's stupid.
That's a mark of you're doing really good, but you would think California has already got their own, wine boat to float,
Exactly.
So it's a wild thing when you think of it. I mean, and you're not thinking
crazy.
Rutherford's not that far away, It's far away, but it's not that far away, and it's
that's just crazy.
When
so you already got the the top, one of the top regions to wow.
It's just, and it's how things are stated, right? It's it's like the false advertising kind of stuff.
And it's on their label.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on their label, and the wine is actually bottled in Rutherford, California, and the label describes it as sourced from the Willamette region of Oregon's coastal range, and it's just a misrepresentation.
Yeah.
So they're being called out on that.
I'm really glad you brought that to our attention, because I think as consumers, we need to know about stuff like that so we don't support, those who do that kind of practice. I want to drink integrity. I do. And I think
you think you're drinking this, but you're really drinking that.
And there's a difference. Yeah. I mean, right now the wine that you're drinking, doesn't it mean more to you also because you've been to the region, so you have a deeper connection, when you've been somewhere.
Yeah, and it's a testament to how popular the wine is, but you can't use it if it's not true. So, the first place I stayed in Eugene was in its fifth. It's a really, really nice place, really nice, cute, beautiful little boutique hotel on Fifth.
Yeah, they seem to do well in that, and having the boutique hotels and B&Bs, but it's really cool that you had that farm stay too, because then you're kind of in that land.
Farm stay.
Yeah, that's
cool.
That's always fun.
Yeah, that's awesome to me.
So you talked about
and that was
also
really unique because their rooms are built in 2 silos. So the rooms are have curved walls and such, and it was really, really different, very unique.
That's clever.
And then they have a wonderful dinner or breakfast in the morning made by 2 wonderful people that they do the food at the place and do catering and things like that.
So they have a fireman's pole that you could just go down the center of the silo?
I know, that's what you want, yeah.
I know, that'd be so much fun, and then you land right where the food is.
I did not see that, but...
That's Nancy's wish list, okay? But
funny.
It is so cool, though, to be able to have those kind of unique things, and I think that's something about when you go to a wine region that's being sustainable, and whether it's organic or live, or if they're doing the biodynamic, and you get in touch with what they're doing, that you have, and I'm not knocking, the chain hotels because they're definitely fill a need, but it's really cool to even at least stay for one night in a place out in the country
Totally
where
different.
it is. There's something magical about that, and I think that's growing. I think more and more travelers want to have that authentic experience. So it sounds like you had that authentic experience when you were there.
Yeah, it was great. The farm was
Mm.
was very peaceful, and there's animals out there, llamas and chickens and everything.
Cool.
Yeah, the
Llamas are
chickens
cool,
provide
yeah.
the eggs at breakfast, and it was
Wow.
beautiful.
Farm to table
Yeah.
for sure.
Chickens can sing if you lead them. They'll be
Yeah.
a choir. We've done that before, and chickens gather. Like, was it Piscina's Ranch? All those chickens came together and sang in a
That's
choir.
because you can sing the chicken song, Nancy.
I know, and it was fun, and they
Yeah.
all sang. It was like, whoa,
I
they
know.
scared me a bit because I was like, wow, they're serious.
So one of the tasting experiences you had was actually at a wine bar, and so there's the wineries you can go, tasting at the vineyards, but then there's the wine bar scene too, right? So and this is in Dundee. Now I feel like we're like in the UK. Dundee.
Dundee,
The
yes.
Battle of Dundee.
It was Fratelli Ponzi. There is
Mhm.
Ponzi Vineyards, which is a founding family in Willamette Valley. They began in. They first produced and planted 28. They bought a 20-acre farm, and this was 1970. So since then, now it's second generation. It's run by two women, the Ponzi sisters. But Fratelli Ponzi is the son, Michel, and he started an import company, moved his family to Italy to follow his passion, importing Italian extra virgin olive oil. So they have Fratelli Ponzi, which is the fine food wine bar portion, and then right next door is Dundee Bistro. They own those two properties, those two establishments. And I had a fabulous wine pairing dinner at Dundee Bistro that just, I don't think you could top it.
Oh, wow. Wow, because food. That's the thing that's interesting about your background is the behind the scenes of delivering that kind of event or delivering that, finished, here's your food. And so when you go into something like that, I want to sit next to you because I want to hear what you go like. No, they could have done it this way.
And, all of Oregon, there's a real focus on, farm to table is so overused, but that's what it is. Yeah. Farm to fork, whatever. I mean, it's everyone there pretty much in your fine dining establishments. Some more than others probably, but definitely sourced from local farmers. The seafood is very, very fresh. And then they, at Dundee Bistro, use the imported organic pasta from Italy that they sell in the store. They use the imported extra virgin olive oil that Fratelli Ponzi produces from olive oil trees on their property as well as from local farmers, and they import it and sell it at the store, and they use it in the restaurant. It was, fine. Good quality, high quality ingredients make all the difference in, the preparation of a dish.
Nice. This sounds, and when you get to the olive oils too, man, and that's, to be able to have the two together, like have the wine, here's the olive oil, dip it in the bread and get that whole feeling of, you feel it, that it goes right down to the earth. And the olive oil
has vintages too. They had 2 years there, and you can taste the difference. And if you taste them side by side, the differences in the olive oil, which would depend on, the climate of that particular year, et cetera. So, or the different olives that they have sourced from different farmers, you can taste them side by side and see the difference in different vintages of olive oil. Yeah, it was, exquisite.
We always go like, there's olive oils where they'll like put a little hint of, orange or lemon or, those kinds of things. But I've never done that in regards to vintage ever. I don't remember that, Nancy, ever doing that. So that's really interesting for us to learn about. And then you went to McMinnville, right, and spent some time out there. So it sounds like this is like a nice little historic downtown.
Oh, McMinnville was so It was just so cute, and really, it wasn't very busy. I was there in the morning. It was kind of rainy, but
Mhm.
you can see stores there. It was like a step back in time, but not, but in a good way.
Mhm.
There was an art supply store, a real live independent bookstore. Who sees that anymore? There were no Starbucks, none of those Gap or anything else that line the streets of every town practically now.
Mm.
And a record store that,
Oh, cool.
just stores that you never see anymore that are independent, small independent businesses.
Oh,
It was
that rocks.
great. A fabric store. And,
Cool. Oh, wow.
and they have a number of wonderful restaurants for such a small town that rival, bigger cities. Really excellent
Did they have
food
any
choices.
tasting rooms there?
Sure. Willamette Valley Vineyards is there. They have a beautiful tasting room there that's very clubby, dark chairs, comfortable sofas and chairs to sit in, fabulous staff at the counter, very informed, very friendly. That's where I went tasting that day. And then I had lunch at Red Fox Kitchen, I think, at the new Atticus Hotel, which is another boutique hotel.
Oh,
That's
wow.
very hip. I didn't see the rooms or anything, but the lunch was fantastic, and they just recently opened the kitchen.
Seems like everything is so independent over there. Like, when you talk about record stores and bookstores and fabric stores and then like boutique hotels and farm stays and here's your wineries, and it seems like everyone's doing like the real thing, the real deal, right? And then at the same time, from previous conversations with winemakers and such, and actually all of Oregon, it seems that they help each other. So it's like we're all independent and small, but at the same time we're going to help each other keep our land right, keep our businesses flowing and growing. That's what it seems like to me with Oregon.
Red Hills Kitchen, it's Red Hills Kitchen at the Atticus Hotel.
Yeah.
And I just had, because I was still full from the night before and try not to gain too much weight on the road, a little appetizer of just radishes with sea salt that was beautiful, different varieties of radishes sourced from local farmers, and then a seafood Louis salad. It was wonderful. If you can say there was too much seafood, is there such a thing? But there was on the salad, but it was delicious.
Oh, wow. So you had an amazing time in an amazing place for sure. What led you to, I know that you really did a lot of work in regards to, developing recipes and healthy recipes, right? And here you are exploring wine country and eating it up. And so I want to know, like, what led you to now I'm going to go from the developer of recipes and being and doing that kind of content in kitchens to now I'm traveling and tasting everyone else's food.
Well, the catalyst for the heart healthy, low sodium recipes was my husband, or is my husband's struggle with heart disease.
Oh.
In 2001, he had a series of heart attacks and had to undergo a quadruple bypass, and then subsequently had issues with arrhythmias and has an implanted cardiac defibrillator. So fortunately, I cooked anyway. I just had to learn how to cook using other things besides salt as a flavoring device,
right.
which I did anyway. I mean, I've always been a good cook, so I just refrained from using salt and used more herbs and other savory, umami type things like mushrooms and black garlic, and I use coffee and wine and beer and other things to flavor food instead of salt. And I still use salt at the table, and I love, all the different kinds of gourmet salts. I have an assortment on my table. But for him, I cooked without it. And then my daughter and I, we would just add salt, or, guests or friends add salt at the table. And it worked out fine. So I started developing recipes. Then he was traveling to China all the time. My daughter went to college, and I wasn't cooking that much. So I kind of lost interest, and I was cooking things
Yeah.
on my own with no one to eat them, and giving it to neighbors or whatever. So I, just converted to. I started writing more about restaurants in Orange County and going to those events and new restaurants and new menus and all that, and then it kind of morphed into travel writing.
Oh, wow.
Culinary
How cool,
with
though.
a culinary focus. Yeah.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, so it's been great. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
not to like?
Yeah. Now, do you travel mostly nationally or internationally?
For a while, I was doing international travel, usually, tagging along with my husband. So we went to Asia a lot. So now it's more national. I mean, I'd like to do some international travel, but the last few years it's mostly been in the U.S.
Yeah, it seems to have been changed up a little bit over the last few years for everyone. It just seems across the board, but I think it's going to change up again. So it's just that's kind of that. It just is the way it is.
Cycle.
It's a cycle, I think. But I'm really glad to learn more. I've been following you on Twitter. I know for a long time. I'm like, she's doing good stuff. Like she's making me hungry, and she's showing me all these cool places. So I've been following you there for a while. And it's really cool to connect with you on this level. And I know you're a member of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association, but you're also published with their magazine as well, the Food, Wine, Travel magazine, too. So you've done stories for them?
Yes.
Cool.
And I have, so my last, I relish there's a number of things places on my list that I have not been to, international destinations that I hope to go to. So that's certainly, something I still would enjoy doing. I haven't been to Morocco. I haven't been to Istanbul. I haven't, I went, my last one was a culinary trip to northern Italy with a chef in Orange County, Mark McDonald, with Old Vine Cafe, which was fabulous because it was also involved, there was also the chef and founder of the Italian Culinary Institute with us, and we just wined and dined all over northern Italy, and it was fantastic. So that was my last, I think, international trip. And I just recently got back from Panama, but that was something else. I know.
Northern Italy, hello.
That must have been a real hardship.
I know. So where have you not been that you really want to go to just have a totally mind-blowing experience? If someone said, okay, you have one ticket now, all expenses paid, just go, and where would you go?
I've always wanted to go to Istanbul.
That's interesting, yeah. That's really, I think you're the first person who said Istanbul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? What's up with that?
Because of all the various influences, back to the Ottoman Empire type, historical influences, and Middle Eastern and North Africa, and as well as Asia, and they just and the problem is a lot of people deem it not safe now, and there have been some incidences, but you just really can't think of that. You just hope that whatever, it doesn't happen. I've been to Paris, so they've had several bombings and things like that. But I have been to Paris a number of times, so otherwise probably a lot of people say Paris. But
we lived in Africa for half of our lives, or kind of, I don't know.
In
I
Africa,
can't add
I have
things.
not been anywhere in Africa.
South Africa and Kenya, and we lived in Mexico, and people are always like, oh, how could you do this? You're going to die. And if they see anything on the TV, they'd be trying to reach us, and back in those days, good luck with that. But it was oh my gosh, you're blowing up, and we're like, no, we're not, we're fine. Down there, and then later we did run into stuff, so that you can't say it's all clean, but
you can cross the street in any street in the USA and get in trouble.
Yeah, and I say
that's
true.
what they say about Rio and Brazil and stuff, because and there are instances, but we have had our share too. So
absolutely, you just have to be aware and don't be stupid about things.
Be aware.
You need to be aware, and if there's a political rally, go the other way.
But I think there's something about being a writer that allows when we travel, we're looking at what can we photograph, what can we do, which sometimes can suck you into that zone and not being aware. But at the same time, I think it gives us this extra skill of awareness. That you're looking all the time.
Well, you find the truth as
and
opposed to major press that may or maybe hyped a little.
No, I mean when you're out in the street, if stuff is going down, that you've got this awareness because you're looking.
We live. I think Americans live a lot by fear, and it's
I
not
agree.
a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas people, like in Paris, they just refuse to let this affect them. Life goes on. It's devastating. It's tragic, but we're not going to let them change our life.
Exactly.
Kind of
You can't live in fear. And I agree with you about that stuff because
it's 10 times worse.
Having lived, been raised in these different countries and situations. Everybody bonded together and made the most of everything. You had fun no matter what.
Yeah.
Something really terrible could happen, and then 2 hours later we'll all be giggling on the side. Maybe it's a release or whatever, but there is a way of move forward, don't live in fear, and live your best life. And I think that's what travel teaches us that, You go through detours like you were talking about earlier when you came on the show. You were talking about, you went through strings of delays, and that can totally blow everything you've planned because, on press trips, you need to be here by this time, and wait, I'm not done with this photo or this interview, but you have to move on, and then a delay can totally screw the whole thing up.
That's
like,
for sure.
Now you're derailed, but there's something about that. In a way, it's like annoying, and then there's this another skill. I think we get these skill sets from being writers on the road.
Yeah.
And thank God for wine, right?
Now, I'm not sure if Istanbul has any good wine, but no, I'll have to research that.
They're gonna have good tea.
They have other things.
They're gonna have good tea. Good tea, man.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to
I think
Istanbul.
they will have wine. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they do.
Religion-wise, I don't know. But then Lebanon has
it's a
really good wine.
wine-growing region. Do they?
Yeah, Lebanon
So,
and that area does have one of the most ancient grapes come from there.
Yeah. So
you never know.
People still
now I'm gonna have
flock
to go look
Israel. So back to that point about fear and stuff. People still flock to Israel, and whatever.
Yeah. Get on with it, people. So Istanbul. I hope you get there. I really do. Where's your next destination? And where are you today? Are you in California? Are you in Arkansas?
I'm in Northwest Arkansas, trying to work. It rained all day, so I've had a little difficulty focusing. But I'm in Northwest Arkansas. We had a great big storm come through here. We've had lots of rain. I'm building a house here, so that keeps me busy, and I'm, so I'm working on my article for Willamette Valley. Really buckled down today since I was doing your show too. So my next destination, I am going to the Finger Lakes region to wine taste up there.
Ooh, nice.
This is a press trip with another writing organization that I belong to. Their conference is in Syracuse, and my post-conference trip is to the Finger Lakes, which I have another region where I've always wanted to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Finger Lakes has good wine. I know that. Just from a lot of
my
tasting.
family for years went to upstate New York, to the Adirondacks, but I had never made it to the Finger Lakes region yet. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
And
we're hoping. Yeah, please do. Arkansas.
I'm sure the wine is wonderful.
It is
okay,
wonderful.
Good. Well, let me know when you're here.
Yeah, we're going to be going because we go to do Kentucky. We're going to Louisiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, East Tennessee, and Arkansas in the summer because it's just the way our whole. It just is the way it happened with our schedule because we have a music festival and folk festival to go to in Natchitoches, Louisiana. So that's not far from Little Rock. So we're going to go to Little Rock. And so that will all be July, August is when we get out into your area. And we're going to be in areas we've never been to. We've never been to Arkansas, never been to
a lot of people
Kentucky
or
Tennessee.
You're not alone.
So this
Kentucky, well, of course, I hope you're going to Louisville to taste some bourbon. But
yeah, we're doing the whole
bourbon trail. I just got back
trail.
from New Orleans. Oh, good. Good for you.
I
didn't do the whole bourbon trail, but I did go to a Pappy Van Winkle bourbon tasting pairing dinner
Pappy Van Winkle.
in Louisville.
I want to go anywhere that's called Pappy Van Winkle. No, we're starting in Springfield, which is in the center. It's
Springfield,
Abraham
Missouri,
Lincoln's.
or
No,
Springfield,
Kentucky, because it's the ancestral legacy of like Abraham Lincoln's parents come from there, and so we're going there, and then we're going to do the trail, the Bourbon Trail.
I think they're from Springfield, Illinois. No, he was from Kentucky. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, he's from Kentucky,
well,
but
good.
he did go to Springfield, Illinois, and there's a bunch of Springfield, and I have this mission to find out, is the Springfield name come from him, because he's, but we actually, Springfield, Kentucky, and one of our friends in England who's on our show all the time, Glenn, Norfolk Tours, he runs Visit Breckland and all these other tourism agencies over there. Well, Swanson Morley is where Abraham Lincoln's real ancestors, like the before they came to America, come from there. And so now, because him and our friend Stephanie, who's from Kentucky, Springfield, two of them are on our show, and now they're going to be sister cities because they should.
They connected
because of over Abraham Lincoln. And so that's the thing. So we're going out, hunting down everything about Abraham Lincoln and drinking bourbon on the way. So it'll be fun.
Well, I was just in New Orleans at the Bourbon Festival last month, and my most recent article was about the Old Forester Rye olfactory experience, which was, one of the breakouts or sessions at the Bourbon Festival, which, was very interesting, to discern the aromas and ingredients in bourbon, just like you do with wine, kind of. And, check it out so you can sniff your bourbon and maybe pick out some of the ingredients that went into the distillate and, make it a unique expression. That was Old Forester. They were great.
Wow. Well, we're going to do New Orleans, that's for sure, at some point here. We have to.
Yeah, we do.
New Orleans. We're going to go to Natchitoches for sure. That will be our second time back there. But New Orleans, we have to go. We have a bunch of musician friends to go hang out with and chefs and stuff. So we got a lot to do in New Orleans.
She can
go to New Orleans, I think we have to go for a month, So
yeah.
I think New Orleans is
cool. Well, contact me if you need some help, because it's only a 10-hour drive from where I am. I drove.
Oh, yeah,
with a couple
she's just like, come on, I'll come down to New Orleans. All right, okay. Well, you know what? When we go to the South, I'm calling you. We'll go. You can come play with us and go tasting and have some fun for sure.
All
Such
right.
a fun time with you. Hey, I will. I will. Everyone, again, keep up with Priscilla at she'scookin.com. Cookin', no G on there, because she's cooking. She's having a good time in the kitchen.
Right, exactly.
But she's having a good time traveling everywhere. Keep up with her on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all those great places. But I really encourage you to go to her website, and then you can follow up, watch her stories, because she really just did come back from Willamette. So watch for her stories there. And, of course, ifwtwa.org is a place to go as a travel writer or a destination. Check that out, too, because, as you can see, all the writers and destinations get together and bring us all, these amazing stories so we know where to go. So we have a special song for you today, and it is called Willamette Fog.
Good.
It is a solo guitar piece. It's beautiful. It's written by Jon Durant, and it's from his album. He's on his, was it 6th or 7th solo guitar album now?
7th.
Yeah, we just interviewed him on Friday. You'd think we'd know. His new album is out. It's called Alternate Landscapes. But this one is Parting Is, from the album Parting Is. It's nominated for the Best Ambient Album in the Zone Music Reporter Awards. And by the way, he gets to go there because of this. He'll be in New Orleans in May 25th. So there you go, connecting right back there, right? But he goes between Boston and Willamette. And this, he's really inspired. I know he loves water and bridges, but this is from the album Parting Is, and you can keep up with Jon Durant at jondurant.rocks, and that's Jon with Jon Durant.rocks. So thanks so much, Priscilla, for joining us. Here's your song.
Thank you, Lisa and Nancy.
Take care. Hey, and listen, when we go tasting in New Orleans with you or wherever we are in the South, we're bringing Priscilla the Sock Monkey.
Yeah,
you just have to bring that up.
Yeah, you can.
So we can have two.
Good. I want to meet her.
Two Priscillas meeting up. All right, here it is, Willamette Fog. Take care.
Okay, girls. Bye-bye.
Bye.